Hey, what's up everybody? Mike G here. I'm back to show off some Superman stuff. I grew up loving Superman in the 90s. And in the 90s, there's all kinds of crazy comic books, not just in DC, but Marvel had a Spider-Man crossover also called the Maximum Clonage Saga. Not a very well-liked saga for comic books. Superman also had his little stint with kind of a clone thing, but it wasn't really a clone saga. It was Reign of Supermen. Now this came out in 1993, I believe, and it was also the third and final part of a huge crossover event that kind of followed up after Death of Superman, when Superman got killed by that guy right there, Doomsday. Now, after he died from Doomsday, 4 different types of Supermen came out. You had the Eradicator, which was he was a ruthless Superman. He had like some killer shades, they were kind of red, with Kryptonian energy powers. And then you had Steel, who was basically a guy. He was like Iron Man. So if you never read it, he's basically like, he was like Iron Man in a steel suit, carried a huge hammer. He wanted to take over for Superman since he was absent. You also had Superboy. Superboy was actually a teenage clone of Superman in that story arc. And then, of course, you had the awesome cyborg Superman, which was half man, half machine, who was going through the whole story basically saying that he was the real Superman. It was a crazy crossover event that spawned after the death of Superman. And then basically, one of the new Supermen is basically a traitor. And eventually it leads up to Superman coming back from the dead. This all happened around the 90s, 1993. The figures were really cool to have. I used to have this guy, Loose. I lost him in a move when I was a kid. Superboy with mammoth capture claw and taser missiles. Now, obviously, the claws were for action figure purposes. He never used those claws in the comic books or anything like that, but it was just an action figure thing. Superman, the Man of Steel, and look, I loved these cards when I was in the 90s. The giant S, and the sick packaging and stuff like that. I had the Power Flight Superman too. Denver had Laser Superman. I had Superboy. Didn't have Conduit. Didn't have Steel. I think Steel was kind of metallic a little bit. Never had any of these guys. See, this came out. The figure came out in 1995 by Hasbro, and the ever famous Kenner. Everybody loves Kenner. They're famous for all kinds of stuff. The Police Academy line of figures, the ever so famous and popular Real Ghostbusters. There was all kinds of different stuff. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and open this guy up and show him off a little bit. How about that? And we're back. Here he is, right out of the package. That good old 90s. Everything seemed to have come with a trading card. Pretty great. That's some good art too. I love the art on that. Well done. Well done. And Superboy right there. His badass coat. There we go. Check out the S on that. So crisp. Nice. Weird booty. Okay. Alright. So there's Superboy and his Black Claw. Silver Claw. LexCorp. Lex Luthor tried to control Superboy like he was his own personal Superman. in trading cards back in the 90s, you know, they had him coming out with the DC figures, the X-Men figures, almost everything. So it says here, Superboy. This super-powered teenager escaped from the ultra-secretive Catamus Project and may or may not be a clone of the real Superman. Cocky, he was definitely cocky. Independent and with an in-your-face attitude. Superboy, which he never called himself that, he says, I'm Superman. He told everybody he was Superman. Backs down from no villain or authority figure on the surface. Superboy's powers seem to mimic Superman's speed, strength, ability to fly, but his main source of power is tactile, telekinetic energy. He can make things move with his mind simply by touching them. He uses his mind power to test LexCorp's prototype capture claw and taser weapons. The only person this high-spirited teen looks up to is Superman, the true Man of Steel, to whom he pledged his loyalty. If you read the comic books, it wasn't quite like that. This guy said he was the man. He was the Man of Steel. He is Superman. And they would they would scrutinize and joke, "You're Superman?" Like, yeah. Superman. Good old Superboy. Let's put the claws on him. Here we are. Superboy with his weird mechanical LexCorp claws. Looks pretty bizarre. Now, one arm has like a little clasp. Which you see right here. I guess that helps you hang on to it. It pushes in with a spring and then you clip it on there. This side has the same type of feature, but his other hand does not have that piece. Like this right here. Too bad. Very clean, very clean. I'll put him on display somewhere. Anyways, here's Superman, Man of Steel, Superboy figure from Kenner. And this one came out again in 1995, following the Reign of Superman comic book series from DC back in the 90s, about 1993 to be exact. And really cool line of Superman figures. So this is Mike G, and I'm heading out of here. Thank you for stopping by and showing some support. If you like the video, please like it. Please subscribe. Please share the video, and I appreciate your support. Thanks.